And he will be playing versus Josip Juroš, which should be a rather good match as both players are, well, genuinely pretty good players. Josip is piloting, I think, the Mathmech strategy or something along those lines. It's definitely a Cybers deck. And Philip is just one-tricking his Despia deck as he usually does. As we see a fusion deployment start from Philip. Usually very strong if Cartesia can get something going. He has opening as well, so yeah, it seems to be a rather very strong opening. So now from this point onwards, he can play around Ash on Branded Fusion in multiple ways, basically. It's definitely annoying, but it will not be game-ending. So far, everything's pretty clear. As we get to see what he decides to go for with the Aliber. He's posturing like he already has the Branded Fusion. Let's see if he's bluffing or if it's actually the case. And yeah, he already does have the Branded Fusion as he gets drolled. Okay, so this Lost is virtually useless. Not completely, but virtually, yes. As he decides to go for Lost and Branded Fusion. Very standard here. Not much to add, as it does seem to have resolved. And yeah, it's just, I assume it's just going to be a gimmick puppet lock from here on. Pretty rough game state to be in for our Mathmech player. Unless he decides to do something differently. And as most of you already know, Philip is someone that has attended multiple YCSs, has a YCS top under his belt, regularly tops regional events, bigger national events. So yeah, very accomplished player. So I do not expect many, if any, misplays from his side, as he did opt to go for the Lebellion. As we could see that the last card in his hand was a Serenir, which is very advantageous if he gets to resolve the whole combo. So let's see what he decides to do. He decides to use Cartesia. Fuses into whatever his name is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. You guys know what it is. Okay. As he goes for the new guy. Now that is very, very interesting. Let's see what he decides to go for. I'm actually not that well informed with the new Despia combos, since they did get a lot of support recently, so I'm not actually sure what's the best line to go for in this deck anymore. So let's see. Decides to go for Lebellion. Still gets the Gimmick Puppet lock, which will be very, very oppressive, as he will have multiple ways to access the Gimmick Puppet. The new fusion does summon the Gimmick Puppet onto the opponent's field, which is, in my opinion, I don't think it's a card that genuinely should have been printed. It's very oppressive, very strong, and they should have just straight up banned Expulsion, but it's just not on me to comment on that. And yeah, he decides to pass on that. I expect him to just try to shotgun Gimmick Puppet as soon as possible. Let's see what happens. And yeah, he decides to do so. Now what will the counterplay to that be? There is nothing. And that is most likely just game. Okay. They seem to be discussing something about the Gimmick Puppet lock. That is... okay. Interesting. I wonder what happened there. As we do go into game 2, and since Josip is playing a Mathmech / Cyber strategy, I assume that he would like to go first. It's a deck that has a lot of hand traps. It's a deck that can go first easily, and if it establishes a board with follow-up, it's very hard to break. So let's see what he opts to do. Maybe I'm just straight up wrong. Maybe he likes to go second into the Despia matchup, but it's just my assumption that he would like to go first. Let's see. Let's see what happens. As both players are pile shuffling up. We do see the Nibiru in Philip's deck. Could be detrimental for this matchup. We also see talents. Cosmics, that is mildly interesting. I'm unsure what the need for Cosmic Cyclones is. Especially if it's like one. It's a bit niche. I would hope that he takes out another one. Or like just commits into playing all of them. But maybe he just doesn't have anything better to take out. Could just be like one of those situations like, oh, my siding patterns are so meh that like there's just nothing else to do. We'll see what ends up happening there. Okay. And yeah, not much to say. The event has been going smoothly so far. Everything has been going well. We had some hiccups at the start, but everything seems to be more than fine now. So let's see what ends up happening. Oh, starts with circular. Okay. Strong start right from the start. Let's go. Circular hits the field. Normal diameter. Get Sigma. So far, so good. Oof, we see an Nibiru in hand from Philip. Okay. That is very unfortunate considering the diameter. Let's see what happens. I would assume he enters Alimbertion. Yeah. Chain block. Gets another diameter. Makes sense. Now I would assume he will attempt to activate Sigma. Yep. Or does he have some other sort of extender? Does seem like he has something. What? Exceed? Okay. Makes sense. Plays around Imperm. So far, everything has been more than clean. So far, so good. I like to play from the Mathmech player. That I'm not sure if I like. I'm not sure he had to do that, but I could be wrong. Because it just feels neg-ish. I don't see the point of that. Just trying to understand what the idea is here. Whoa, terahertz? Okay, sure. Terahertz is very interesting. Terahertz is definitely a very interesting choice. I think it's a good card, but I'm not sure if it's the correct card for this game state. Gets Nibiru, okay. Maybe just trying to simplify the game state with Heat Soul, but again, he has follow-up into Means of Diameter. If he has any way to Ash, it's also significant. So yeah. Let's see what ends up happening here. He gets a token. Also, sorry if you hear me sniffle here and there. I'm a bit sick, so excuse that. And there is the anti-spell. Now that will hurt a fair bit. Really depends on Philip's hand from here. I'm not sure he can do that much. He would need like Cartesia. But even then, it's really, really rough. Okay, Albion, good start. So far, so good for Philip. Sends the Albas. Okay. Draws. It's an Aliber. So he has Kit Aliber so far. Let's see what he decides to do. The trap and the anti-spell are very rough. And that token is big, big, big. So, yeah. Not to be taken lightly. Aliber effect. Should just resolve. I don't think it can do anything crazy. Let's see if he kept any of the traps. Maybe he can play a mind gap game with the anti-spell and the traps. Could be a possibility. That's opening. And he I don't know if that's necessarily correct. I don't mind this choice, but you can. I guess it's okay. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Detach 2. Yep. Hit the nib, hit card. Nib plus card from hand. You really don't want to be not hitting nib here. Yeah. And one from hand. Talent. Yeah. That's what I mean, like I'm not sure like the value from this was as much as you'd like it, but I think Philip just has a bunch of spells in hand, so shouldn't matter either way. Yeah, 3 spells and a kit. Okay. And this game should be, well, basically a wrap. Okay. As he does decide to start with the Sigma. Makes absolute sense. Nothing wrong with that at all. Normal's diameter, uses effect. Okay. What? He's under anti-spell. He cannot do that. He cannot do that. He cannot do that. That is illegal. As he scoops it up. Yep. As expected. That was weird, that interaction. I would assume he knew that. That was probably just some miscommunication or something. I wouldn't expect Philip to... Yeah, definitely a weird interaction. But okay, we proceed. Heading into game 3, hopefully the Mathmech player can open enough hand traps to stop the Despia deck. Even though I'm not sure like how good hand traps actually are in that matchup, but I guess we'll find out. I guess we will find out. Okay. As we're just siding up, not much to commentate really. We're just waiting on the players to finish siding. Hopefully, Philip has some more Bestials in his deck, or well, in his side deck, that he can abuse to stop the Mathmech strategy. I would assume so. I think Bestials are pretty good at the moment for the Mathmech and for the Labyrinth matchup. Even in the mirror match of Despia, not bad. So let's see what they end up doing and how the game ends up panning out. As they seem to be both shuffled up, I would assume Philip to be going first and trying to puppet lock again. But I could be wrong. You never know these days. So let's see. That seems to be a low spell count hand from Philip. Like 2. With 3 monsters. Wonder what the monsters are. Could be anything. As I cannot make it out from here. But let's see what happens. Oh, I see an Aliber. So I would assume this Foolish would be going for a Lubellion. As he already does have an Aliber. Could be going for an Albaz as well. Let's see what he decides to do. Tragedy, yeah. Tragedy effect. Oh, that's Quem. Okay. I actually didn't know that was a thing. My bad. I just completely slipped my mind. That card came out. Yeah. Yeah. Quem is a pretty good card. Not gonna lie. It has branded fusion. Okay. I would assume he drops it now. Yeah, he did have an Aliber. I saw that correctly. And I would assume he's using Quem effect now as he's entering his deck. Creme is a very strong card. I think it fixes a lot of the issues Despia as a deck had. I'm not sure if it makes them better than Kashtira, but pretty good overall right now. Let's see what he decides to send here. Yep, will be Albaz. Makes complete sense. See, enters Branded Fusion right away. Okay, Branded Fusion resolved. There seems to be no hand traps. That is very rough. Very rough. I'm really unsure how you beat that. Okay, he still seems to be resolving. Taking a bit longer than anticipated. Don't know what's taking him so long. That is a bit annoying. Okay. Enters the new guy. I believe he maybe drew Puppet. Could be. What do I see in that hand? I did not see... Okay, Cartesia. Cartesia getting hit could here could maybe be very impactful. Potentially be very annoying. Philip seems to be posturing on his way to activate something. I think he's resolving Cartesia. Yeah, resolved Cartesia. And yeah, from here on it's just game. Yeah, this setup is really hard to beat, if not basically impossible. Okay. He gets the puppet look, and I would expect him to just pass here. I don't think he has to go further. Unless he has something. But that should be enough as is. Yeah, he does decide to pass. And I believe he just gets puppet locked and he's screwed. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Both players are just at a stalemate. What do they seem to be thinking about? Okay. Effect. Is there an imperm? No, there's not. That's just game. I would assume that's just game. Well, that is very harsh. Tribute set. I would assume a driver and pass. Yeah, that's just rough. Nothing to even say here. It's just straight up over. Okay, well, let's just see Philip straight up killing him as quickly as possible, hopefully. Okay. Bestial. How is he killing him here? That's what I want to know. Okay, Cartesia. Yeah, Resolve Albion, that's game. I would assume so. Yeah, that should just be game. They're talking about something. And that's just game for Philip, I would assume so. Yeah, that is game. As Philip proceeds to 4-0